When a seductive stranger knocked on his door during a violent storm, David thought he was just helping a girl in need. But by the time the rain stopped, his quiet life had unraveled into a chilling mystery because nothing about her was what it seemed. And what happened behind closed doors was absolutely unbelievable. The storm outside was relentless. Lightning slashed through the night sky, and thunder roared like an angry beast. Inside a small cabin nestled at the edge of town, David, a 32-year-old graphic designer, was enjoying the solitude he always longed for. A cup of hot cocoa in hand, his golden retriever Max curled at his feet, and peaceful jazz playing in the background. It was his idea of a perfect rainy evening. But that peace shattered when a loud knock echoed through the wooden walls. Knock, knock, knock. Startled, David froze. Who could it be in this weather? He wasn't expecting anyone, especially not this late. Cautiously, he approached the front door. Through the rain-smeared glass, he saw a figure, soaked, shivering, and unmistakably female. He opened the door slowly. There she stood, a young woman, maybe in her mid-20s, her clothes clinging to her like a second skin, rainwater dripping from her long black hair. Her green eyes locked onto his. "Please," she said, her voice trembling, "my car broke down. I didn't know where else to go." David hesitated. Everything about her screamed trouble, from her red lips to her mysterious presence. But the storm was merciless, and she looked genuinely desperate. "Come in," he finally said. As she stepped inside, leaving a trail of water on the hardwood floor, David had no idea that letting this stranger in would turn his world upside down. She introduced herself as Lena. No last name, just Lena. She smiled, her lips curling in a way that made him feel like she knew something he didn't. As she disappeared into the bathroom, David's mind raced. What was she doing out here in the middle of nowhere? Why wasn't she calling for help? When she returned, she looked completely different, wrapped in his oversized hoodie. Her seductive appearance was now softened, yet something about her still radiated danger. They sat down by the fireplace. Max, usually shy around strangers, surprisingly rested his head in Lena's lap. She gently petted him, staring into the flames. "So, Lena," David began, trying to keep the conversation casual, "where were you heading?" She looked at him. Her eyes glinted in the firelight. "Somewhere far, away from things." "Running from someone?" "Running from myself," she whispered. There was silence, an eerie one. David couldn't tell if she was hurt or hiding something. She was vague, dodging his questions with charm. And yet something kept him from asking more, like her presence alone had cast a strange spell over the room. That night, Lena fell asleep on the couch, Max curled up beside her. David lay awake in bed, eyes wide open, wondering if he had just made a huge mistake. It was around 2 a.m. when David heard it, a soft creaking, footsteps, followed by the faint sound of whispering. He sat up in bed, holding his breath. Max barked, once, then twice. David rushed to the living room, heart pounding. But there was no one there. Lena was asleep. Or at least she looked like she was. The couch was empty, but the front door was still locked. Then he heard it again, this time from the kitchen. He stepped inside, only to find Lena standing barefoot, staring out the window, her back to him. "You okay?" he asked. She turned around slowly, her face unreadable. "Couldn't sleep. Storm's too loud." David nodded, though the storm had actually died down. "Want some tea?" She smiled. "I'd like that." As they sipped tea under the dim kitchen light, David tried once more to piece her together. She was like a puzzle that didn't fit, a beautiful book missing its final chapter. Then, without warning, she leaned in and kissed him. Soft, slow, certain. David pulled away, stunned. "Lena, what's going on?" Her smile faded. "I'm sorry. I'm not used to kindness." He didn't know what to say. Part of him felt drawn to her, but another part whispered caution. That night he dreamed of a shadow moving through the cabin, watching, waiting. The next morning, David woke to the smell of breakfast. Lena was humming in the kitchen, wearing his hoodie and flipping pancakes. It felt surreal, like they were a couple already. "Morning," she said cheerfully. "Morning," he replied cautiously. "Sleep well?" Like a baby, she lied. He sat down, watching her. The more he looked, the more he noticed tiny scars on her wrists, a nervous twitch in her left eye, and the way she constantly looked over her shoulder. "Lena," he said firmly, "I need to know the truth. Who are you really?" She froze, spatula in hand. Then she sat across from him, eyes serious. "I didn't just stumble here, David," she said. "I chose your house." His heart skipped. "What?" "I knew you'd be here. I've seen you before at the local grocery store, the coffee shop. You never noticed me, but I noticed you." David's blood ran cold. "I've been trying to escape someone," she continued. "My ex? He's dangerous. He's been following me, hurting me. I didn't know where else to go, and I thought maybe you'd be kind." David tried to process it all. Part of him wanted to call the police, but the look in her eyes, raw, vulnerable, held him back. Just then, Max growled at the front door. Someone was outside. David grabbed a flashlight and peeked through the curtain. A black SUV idled on the road near his driveway. The engine running. Lights off. "Is that him?" he asked. Lena nodded, her face pale. "He found me." David's instinct kicked in. He grabbed his phone, but before he could call 911, Lena stopped him. "No police," she whispered. "He's connected. He'll make it worse." David didn't care. He had to protect his home, his dog, and this girl who, whether she was telling the truth or not, clearly needed help. Suddenly, the door shook. A loud bang. "Lena, I know you're in there," a voice roared from outside. David locked every window and door, heart pounding like a drum. He turned off all the lights, and then silence. Hours passed. The SUV eventually drove away, but something didn't sit right. That night, Lena cried in his arms. She told him everything about the abuse, the threats, the fear. David listened, feeling a mix of anger and compassion. Days passed. They lived quietly. Lena smiled more, cooked meals, even helped David with his work. It was almost normal. Until one afternoon when David found her gone. No note, no phone.
No trace.
Just a red lipstick mark on his bathroom mirror and a newspaper clipping on his kitchen table. It was a missing person report. Lena Marie Carter disappeared 3 years ago, believed dead after a domestic dispute. Body never found. David stared at it, hands trembling. She had never told him her last name. Behind those seductive eyes and whispered lies, had he sheltered a ghost? Or a survivor playing her final hand? The truth? He would never know. But one thing was certain, what happened behind those closed doors would haunt him forever. Never forget to like and subscribe to this channel to get more amazing videos.